everybody. Welcome to On My Own Financial. I'm your wealth best friend, Jayla Eaton, and I just like to talk about Apple stocks, if we can do that for a minute. So, I'm going to start by telling you my journey and my first investment. It was actually in Apple stock in 2012, 2011. I thought I had done the worst thing in the world. I took my dad's advice and he told me, Jayla, stop buying these phones, because I was one of those loyal followers. I'd be in lines to get the phones. Buy the stock. I took him up on that. The stock was trading at that time for $700 a share. I bought one share. Didn't know what it was going to do. Of course, the minute I buy my share, it drops. The price drops. So I'm already losing money, which if you stick with me long enough, you'll learn that's not losing money. But I now had $700 that I invested in this company that I believed in, that I was a consumer of, that I shopped with, and I was faithful to. But what did that mean? It meant I was an owner. It meant I needed to pay attention to what the company was doing. I needed to understand their financials, where they were headed, because I was a long-term investor, which meant I was buying to hold. I wasn't buying to day trade. So here's what happened to my share of Apple stock. They decided to do a stock split. And so at that time, they were doing a 7-to-1 stock split. For every one share that you own, you would get 7. So that meant my one share now became 7 shares. I owned at $700, so when it split, I owned at $101 a share. Now, if you even think about what the current stock price is, which is like $450 or more today, I have 7 shares that I started with at $100. That means I'm gaining over $300 on each share. Now, this is super important because right now you have the opportunity to do the same thing, because they're stock splitting again. They're going to do a 4-to-1 stock split in August. And what that means is there's really no difference if you decide to buy now or buy after the split, but the price is going to go down because they're now offering more shares for you to buy. So instead of it being $400, it's going to look way more attractive at $100 or somewhere around that price. But let's go back to my share. So remember, I now have 7 shares that I purchased for $700. You know what those shares are worth today? I'll wait. $3,239 is what I gained on that one stock. Now, of course, I kept buying. My husband kept buying, and then I started buying for my child. So I've invested about $5,000 into Apple. Do you know my Apple investment alone is worth $22,000 today? And some of those shares weren't bought in 2012. Like I said, as I could afford them, I just kept buying. You can do this. You just have to pick your companies. Now, the best thing about Apple is they also pay a dividend. So not only is the value of my investment growing, but I'm also getting dividends based on how many shares that I own. So I'm going to own more shares when they stock split again. So for every share that I have, I'm going to get 4 more. I need everybody to understand this, because even if it's just investing in the stock market, because you want to retire and you get a employer provided retirement, it's the same thing. You're investing in companies and hoping that they will appreciate, that they will grow. You don't even have to invest in one stock. I invested in index funds, which also include Apple. It invests in multiple companies. I'm up over $8,000 in just index funds. So it's not that you have to pick the right company and stick with it. No. There are a lot of ways that you can invest long term and see growth and appreciation of your money instead of having to work hard, be taxed, and not see any growth from your money. So I wouldn't give you any advice that I wouldn't take myself, which is why I use my own story to tell you this. It's lessons that I'm actually trying to teach my daughter. And like I said, at this point, she owns more Apple stock than I do because she's gotten them as gifts from her wonderful grandparents, who at 2 bought her Apple shares at, I want to say $150 a share. They bought 2 shares. You know, those shares now each are worth $450, and now she's gonna get 4 more shares in addition to the shares that I bought for her. So buy shares for yourself, buy them for your kids, buy them as gifts, do your research, understand what you need to know. If you need help, ask a question. I'm here. Visit On My Own Financial. Our goal is to make sure that you're self-sufficient, that you understand what you need to know to build your wealth, and then you protect it, because that's how we continue to close the generational wealth gap and the racial wealth gap. We have to share the knowledge. So even if your estate plan just says invest, here are some options. That's a way of transferring wealth to the next generation that they don't know. But I want to be brief, so I'm going to go now. But take a look at Apple stock. See what you think. Let me know. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I will be posting this on my new YouTube channel, so feel free to visit there. Look for Your Wealth Best Friend and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.